Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman expresses fear of assassination over Israel normalization efforts. Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, MBS, has reportedly confided to visiting U.S. lawmakers that he fears for his life, due to his ongoing efforts to normalize relations with Israel. According to a report by Politico, which cited 3 individuals familiar with the discussions, MBS remains committed to pursuing ties with Israel despite the potential personal risks involved. Historical context and concerns. During the conversations, MBS referenced the assassination of Egyptian President Anwar Sadat, who was killed by Islamist extremists in 1981, shortly after signing a peace treaty with Israel. He questioned U.S. officials about the measures taken to protect Sadat, following his landmark agreement, highlighting his own concerns about security as he navigates the complex political landscape surrounding normalization. MBS emphasized that any deal with Israel must include a true path to a Palestinian state, a condition that the current Israeli government has publicly opposed. A source close to the discussions noted, "Saudis care very deeply about this, and the street throughout the Middle East cares deeply about this." He expressed that his role as the custodian of Islam's holy sites would be jeopardized if he did not address the Palestinian issue, which he deemed the most pressing matter of justice in the region. Despite the risks, MBS appears determined to pursue a significant agreement with the U.S. and Israel, viewing it as essential for Saudi Arabia's future. However, sources within the U.S. Congress have indicated that the possibility of finalizing a normalization deal before the upcoming presidential election in November is slim, as there may not be enough time for the Senate to ratify any agreements. Nahal Tuzi, the senior foreign affairs correspondent for Politico, suggested that MBS might be using the threat to his life as leverage to encourage U.S. officials to apply pressure on Israel to agree to terms he finds acceptable. She noted that even before the recent conflict in Gaza, MBS was taking significant risks by considering diplomatic ties with Israel. The ongoing conflict in Gaza has intensified sentiments among Saudi youth, many of whom have been galvanized by the violence. This shift in public opinion could complicate MBS's efforts to secure normalization with Israel, as he risks losing support among younger Saudis who are increasingly aware of the humanitarian crises in the region. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has long sought normalization with Saudi Arabia, but his administration's refusal to endorse a Palestinian state complicates the negotiations. U.S. President Joe Biden has indicated that Saudi Arabia seeks full recognition of Israel in exchange for security guarantees and support for a civilian nuclear program. The Biden administration recently resumed offensive weapons sales to Saudi Arabia, lifting a ban that had been in place since 2021 due to human rights concerns. This move is seen as part of a broader strategy to engage Riyadh in efforts to secure a ceasefire in Gaza and counter potential Iranian threats to Israel. Just days before the outbreak of the Gaza conflict, 2 Israeli ministers made historic visits to Saudi Arabia, signaling a potential thaw in relations. However, the violence that erupted on October 7, when Hamas launched a surprise attack on Israel, has significantly altered the dynamics of normalization talks. In conclusion, as Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman navigates the treacherous waters of Middle Eastern politics, his fears of assassination underscore the high stakes involved in pursuing normalization with Israel. With the Palestinian issue at the forefront, MBS's ability to balance domestic pressures and international relations will be crucial in determining the future of Saudi-Israeli ties. The situation remains fluid, and the coming months will be pivotal in shaping the geopolitical landscape of the region.